Genshin Impact is a game with wonderful characters and an immersive story. Today, we will be talking about one fun fact about each playable character. Let's go! Albedo will destroy Mondstadt one day. It's not a matter of if, but rather when. In a voice line in 1.2, Albedo hints that one day he will snap, lose control, and destroy Mondstadt, and that it is our job, for some reason, as a traveler to stop him, making him one of the future playable character deaths. It is also possible that Hu Tao will rerun after his rerun for this very reason. Amber's grandfather, one of the original Outriders, disappeared without a trace and subsequently led the Outrider division of the Knights of Favonius into a state of ruination and decline that Amber is now slowly and desperately trying to revitalize. Barbara can only be depressed for 30 seconds every day, which is either emotionally disciplined or emotionally depressed. I'm no therapist. Beidou got her vision after going head-to-head with the almighty sea monster Haishin. She used to sing sea shanties when she was a kid, but after she had slain the beast, Beidou never sang any shanties since. Anyone that asks her will be killed just like a snake. Bennett is perfectly fine with dying. He feels as though death is fortunate rather than unfortunate, because people would sing you praiseworthy songs and legends after death. So that means death will never come to Bennett. Changyun has no people skills, and even less communication capabilities because he was often isolated from others due to his positive congenital energy, and that he has no actual real motivation in life beyond exorcism, which uses thaumaturgy and martial arts to conquer evil. There are many means to the same end, but they are not the true way. Delux's dad died when he was 18. Fiona doesn't really hate her father, but rather just wishes for him to be the man that she admired and treasured for, until he drinks wine and becomes a wild boar in the mud. Eula will never escape the prejudice and judgment delivered by her own peers, simply because of her last name, meaning that her quest for birthing the sullied name of the Lawrence clan may all be for naught, because the common people are too judgmental to weave path to her intimidating personality. Fischl had no friends growing up, and is often seen as the weird kid living in a fantasy world, so much so that her vision made her a little friend. If that isn't the epitome of loneliness, I don't know what is. For several centuries of hard work, Ganyu will forever be stuck to a life of secretarial work, tax auditing, and filing cabinets. Not to mention, her own sense of unending and unattainable levels of consistent perfection means that the bar will always be put higher and higher until she can no longer reach it and just fall into a state of panic. Hu Tao wants to bury a literal child. Hu Tao also went to the border one day to look for the old Wangshan funeral parlor directors, specifically her grandfather, but saw no one at the border save for an old woman who told her that her grandfather was not here. That is when she realized that her grandfather no longer lingered, because there was no regret to be had in his life since he lived it so honestly and earnestly. Jean being the acting grandmaster means that she is put on a level of inhumane expectations and on a pedestal that no one should ever try to stand on, making the people of Mondstadt unhealthily rely on her every day without her actually getting any necessary rest, sleep, and food. She was also left behind by Grandmaster Varka, who went to buy some milk. Kazuha is a wanted criminal and murderer. Let's not forget that. At a young age as well, he was once a renowned young master of the Katehara clan, but fortune is fickle and so is nobility, leaving him with absolute dust and dinges as everything he loved crumbled around him. But he did want to live a free and wandering life, so his old home became a corpse of the past, just like his friend. Kaya will eventually have to pick whether he wants to save Mondstadt or kill it should the time come that Conria decides to wage war in the city, which means we'll either be seeing a brother-brother deathmatch or the coolest melt combo to come in a cutscene. His father also left to buy milk. For someone that says that she doesn't like the gods, she sure has a lot of Rex Lapis figurines. Klee is probably an elf, which means Klee is going to probably outlive most of her human friends, so there's that. Lisa's health is deteriorating, and she probably only has half a life lived before she perishes. This is hinted by the way her constellation is a ticking hourglass, and Mona makes the ominous prediction that the Tempest Fujit sands are dying away. She was also looking for the secrets of the vision, which could have probably had a hand in slowly killing her. Mona's barely existing over the poverty line lifestyle became her wake-up call when she realized that not all of human existence is governed by any divine rule or calculation. No one is truly evil, no one is truly good, and not everyone is living wealthy and comfortable lives that could be solved by academic teachings and principles, because that doesn't put food on the table. Fitting she's next because Ningguang is the very person Mona's story talks about. She used to be poor, now she's not. She also considered selling the masterless visions of dead people for a profit, so Kazuha be damned. Noelle's roses actually means that her lips are sealed, and that no secrets in the Knights of Avonians are allowed to be coerced from her, seeing as she is a maid. Jean's private quarters, Amber's bear and bunny content, Klee's bombs, Kaya's eye patches, and the amount of bones that Sucrose probably keeps in her pockets on a day-to-day basis for research purposes. Chi-Chi's a dead child! Razor is having an identity crisis whether he's human, or a wolf, or a furry. He's not stupid. He just has limited communication skills because of how he's dealing with his own isolation from human civilization for almost his whole life. Rosario was raised in a remote mountain village, but was kidnapped and taken in as a child soldier enslaved by bandits. Payu is a master of being fast enough that she avoids enemies, traps, and human responsibilities altogether. She also doesn't like tanukis because her outfit, which is the least inconspicuous clothes for any logical stealth mission, resembles one. The hood is for security, the tail is for balance, and the entire outfit is a mistake. Sucrose's main hobby is collecting skeletons. Ajax is actually a true harbinger of chaos and bloodshed, however we wish to put it. He has a terrifying amount of skill in combat, and has impeccable and insatiable lust for chopping people's head off. He also tried to drown a whole nation, but we don't need to be put into the specifics. His third form is also not from his delusion, but rather from the abyssal teachings of a sword woman after he accidentally fell into the abyss when he was 14. I'm 14, and this is deep. Lumine and Aether came from a world that was already ruined by the fate of destruction. So imagine coming to another world and seeing that it's about to be ruined by the fate of destruction. Venti is actually a god of war, and not a passive deity, even though he presents himself as an alcoholic sometimes. Remember, this is one of the gods that destroyed the civilization allegedly, and slain the dragon Durin, and also invoked revolution against the original people of Mondstadt. Do you honestly think this man wouldn't kill other people if it need be? You tell me, buckaroo! Zhao's karmic debt will one day consume him. If the Traveler can't purify the debt completely, or the Traveler leaves to go to another world, then Zhao's fate rests to a time that he'll eventually have to be put down just like the rest of the other Yakshas. Remember, it almost happened once. Who knows when it'll happen again?
Xiangling's probably a cannibal, unless proven otherwise.
Xingqiu knows how to swallow swords, though there's that. Jinyan was judged and mistreated unfairly for most of her life because of her disposition, her clothes, and the fact that she lacks the basic feminine skills such as cooking and sewing, which made her more motivated to learn in the future because she believes that other people's opinions shouldn't define her. But that doesn't mean anything because we have yet to see her in the game. Yanfei is super particular with reading comprehension, and because she's so used to reading the law as written, meeting with the Traveler once after they accidentally sent an ambiguous greeting sent her into a spiral of overthinking about the social situation worse than your average introvert. She eventually lost her marbles and failed to go to sleep that day. Yoimiya likes making knickknacks, which she sells in the Naganohara fireworks shop, from scatterbloom marbles to leaping tops to Neo Dragonfly to Onikabuto chariots, like a real toy seller from Inazuma. Kamisato Ayaka is currently not on this list because she put her socks and sandals into the water. That's disgusting. Zhongli will eventually die one day, just like the rest of the other deities in Adepti. Already expects that we outlive him should his time expire, and he asked if we can bring the story of Liyue into the stars so that while the earth corrodes and the sand disperses, Teyvat's history will at least push on. So those are fun facts about each of the Genshin Impact characters. Thank you so much for watching. I am Master, and thanks for chilling with me.